state. Joining us now is Texas Republican Congressman Mac Thornberry. He serves as the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for joining us. When you woke up to the news this morning, what was your immediate reaction?
Not really surprised. North Korea always will do something to get attention for itself. That's been its method of operations historically. And so there has been concern about a missile test, a nuclear test in the near future. They're always going to say, hey, don't forget about us. Remember, you've got to bargain with us and try to get concessions from us, from China, from the South Koreans, or from others.
I know you've been well briefed on this already. Information is coming in. Do you believe this was, in fact, a hydrogen bomb test?
We don't know. Our intelligence community is still gathering evidence about exactly what it was. It seems pretty clear there was some sort of man-made detonation that was significant. And it is important to know, if we can, whether it was a hydrogen bomb or an atomic bomb, which they have detonated before. But in some ways, what this tells us about North Korea, regardless of what sort of nuclear weapon it was, is that this continues to be a very dangerous state, willing to go its own path. And we in the United States cannot afford to focus on ISIS or Russia or Iran, that there are many dangers around the world, and North Korea is certainly one of them.
As you know, the UN Security Council is meeting. Reportedly, they're going to be considering more sanctions against North Korea. But in the past, they really haven't done a whole lot to stop North Korea from developing this nuclear arsenal, if you will. What will it take to convince the North Koreans to move in the other direction?
I'm not sure that you can. As your report just a few moments ago pointed out, China has the most leverage over them, except China is very concerned about instability in North Korea, because that would mean lots of refugees coming into China and potentially being a destabilizing force there. So there's only so much China has historically been willing to do in the way of pressure against North Korea. Otherwise, they are very isolated, have very limited contact with the outside world. And unfortunately, we have very limited information about what's going on inside that country. So the key thing for us is to have strong defenses, strong missile defense, and strengthen our own nuclear deterrent, which has been allowed to deteriorate over the past 20 years.
As you know, that Korean peninsula is one of the most dangerous spots on Earth, with nearly 1 million North Korean troops north of the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, nearly 1 million South Korean troops just below the DMZ, Seoul, the capital, 30 miles away, 30,000 or so U.S. troops right along the demilitarized zone. Should they stay there, or is it time to pull those American troops out?
No, I think it's important for us to stand by our South Korean allies now as much as it ever has been. Because if there's one thing that can help deter North Korea from aggression, it is knowing that the United States is there with our allies, with our nuclear deterrent. But that's why I say we really need to make sure we strengthen our own defenses to leave them and others no doubt at all that we have the capability to do even more destruction than they do.
Mac Thornberry is the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee. Mr. Chairman, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.